Hi guys, it's that time of week again. It's book review time. This week's book, Stephen King, The Green Mile. Now, we've done Stephen King on this channel before. I've already covered Cell. That was in fact my first ever Stephen King novel, which is disgusting. I know I really need to read more Stephen King. So I decided to go back to a little bit earlier in Stephen King's career, to the 90s, 1996. Everybody argues Stephen King's greatest work came about in the 70s and the 80s. So I decided to go for the 90s. Next time I review Stephen King, I will probably go back earlier than that. But this book came out in 1996, the film came out in 1999, and it follows Paul Edgecombe, who is head guard at what is essentially the death row block of Cold Mountain Penitentiary. Now, it's not specifically designated death row, it's not officially termed that in the book. In fact, even the execution chamber in the book isn't an official execution chamber. It's a storage room with an electric chair in it that they name Old Sparky. And it follows his interactions with the last 3 prisoners that he sentences or that he looks after until their execution. And the final one of those is a man called John Coffey, who comes along, and he's been sentenced to death for the rape and murder of 2 young girls. He's a black man, they were white, and it essentially details Edgecombe's relationship with John Coffey. Because John Coffey seems to possess some bizarre supernatural powers. He seems to be able to heal people of their physical afflictions. He seems to be very empathetic and sort of almost able to read minds. And it's a very bizarre situation. So he tries to figure out this character throughout the whole book. Figure out what's his deal. What's he all about? How can he do these things? And the 3 main themes of the book are racism. As I've already said, John Coffey is a black man sentenced to death for the rape and murder, double rape and murder of 2 young white girls. Waiting to die. The Green Mile is a metaphor for death throughout the entire book. In fact, the book skips back and forth between Paul Edgecombe writing the book in a nursing home, in an old people's home in his old age, and then it will jump back to his time in the 1930s in the penitentiary, working in the prison. So it's him writing the book from old age, and he even says there the carpets of the nursing home should be green because he's waiting to die. And the Green Mile is the metaphor for waiting for death. And those are the 3 main themes: racism, waiting to die, and crime and punishment, and whether the death penalty is justified or not. And that's sort of a undertone, sort of a subtext for the book, for the whole book, is whether we're really right to punish people by death, to kill them for killing others. It seems to be an unuttered question throughout the entire premise of the book, but it is very interesting. Again, Stephen King has brilliant character skills. He's able to make you feel for a character. He's able to create a character that you sympathise with, or that you hate, or that you adore. Or, for instance, Percy Wetmore, one of the bullying guards, or the bullying guard on the block, none of his colleagues like him very much. None of the prisoners like him very much, because he's just a little man with a Napoleon complex who is described as an absolute weasel. And I cannot tell you the last time I hated a character this much. I hated that man throughout the entire book. Could not stand him. I'm trying to keep it spoiler-free here, but there's also a bullying orderly in the old person's home. Again, he makes you hate him. So Stephen King is very good for making you feel certain ways about certain characters. Again, the ending of the book felt a little cramped, felt a little rushed, like he's trying to cram in a whole bunch of stuff in the final closing chapters. So maybe that's a Stephen King thing. But thanks for watching. Go ahead and pick that up, The Green Mile by Stephen King. It will, if it doesn't affect your life in some way, I'd argue you need to stop reading, because it really makes you question views and question life in general. Go ahead, pick it up, check it out. That was Stephen King, The Green Mile, and I'll see you in the next video.